Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We start our presentation from this clip.
Hi, my name is Anisha Zulaika binti Mohamed and my matrix number 1825658.
The word investment usually defined as a creation income activities which develop the economic growth of the society. These not just benefit to the big company or high income earner, but is also helping these low income and non-profit organization as part of their financial objective. As a financial intermediary, a bank plays a vital role to provide a financial advisor to the public, especially on the part of the income growth. Today, there are a lot of products of financial instruments available for the investment activities, which consist of both short and the longer term maturity. The Islamic investment deposit product is one of the tools which increase the capital source of the Islamic financing facilities. As an alternative to the conventional interest-based investment deposit product, the Islamic bank use the profit sharing analysis, or also known as Mudarabah contract, for their investment product. Mudarabah contract was used for the Islamic investment product as the nature of the contract is based on the profit sharing basis. The Islamic bank acts as an entrepreneur while the depositor is responsible for the charge of capital contribution part.
It's just a very short clip on how the video will be conducted, but this video will talk more about the concept of mudarabah and partnership contract from the viewpoint of classical and contemporary Islamic scholars. It will explore more regarding the recent Islamic finance system, which is the mudarabah contract, profit sharing, how the contract aligns with Sharia compliance, and the difference between the conventional finance system. Thus, this contract is based on profit and loss sharing as the core of Islamic financing and always followed Sharia injunctions, which are against interest in the financing system. Therefore, the objective of this video is to know details about features in mudarabah contracts from different opinions by the contemporary and classical scholars. Thus, many Muslim customers have recently used services and products from Islamic banking and finance. Next segment, we talk about the mudarabah from the classical Islamic scholars' viewpoint. Alright, this business, which is mudarabah profit sharing, is one of the earliest to have been used by the pre-Arabs for trade activities. It has different terms for the definition of mudarabah followed by its own schools. The terms of muqarada are being used by Hanafi and Hanbali scholars. Meanwhile, Qirat is used by the Maliki and Shafi'i scholar. Literally, the mudarabah contract is the oldest business that has been used by the pre-Arabs in trade activities. The word mudarabah profit sharing comes from the Arabic phrase al-darbi al-ard, which means to travel. The actual meaning of this partnership is that in the past it was necessary for the parties to travel in order to conduct the business, which is the mudarabah. From the classical Islamic scholars, the activities for mudarabah just only focus on trade activity. Besides, there are various opinions on the types of capital for mudarabah profit sharing contract. Mudarabah profit sharing capital is the wealth entrusted to the mudarib for productive use and at the same time to promote mutual goodwill between the contracting parties. According to Ibn Rushd, one of the Maliki scholars, the majority of the jurists agree that the investment capital should be in the form of monetary assets or currency, as it possesses intrinsic value as a medium of exchange and legal tender that is accepted by all parties involved in the contract. As known, this video will talk about the differences between the opinions about the classical and contemporary scholars, but for this segment, we focus on the contemporary viewpoints of mudarabah. Basically, contemporary Muslim jurists have significantly played a part in the modern application of Islamic banks and finance of the mudarabah contract in terms of profit and loss sharing ratios, areas on how the contracting parties will be divided. The current account of the mudarabah contract is permissible as long as it does not contradict Sharia compliance, especially regarding riba or interest-based lending. That means it is still the same as classical viewpoints, but more features have been implemented in the mudarabah contract. Today, the mudarabah contract has changed due to the modern economic convention. It is becoming more complex as it is just not between two parties, but it has involvement from a third party. the third party comes from the banks or any entrepreneurs who are serving as a part of the funds, which are intermediaries of the contract and also one of the depositors with the bank. Generally, the profit sharing contract, or well known as two-tier contract, is just contributed by two parties who are one Rabbul Mal and one Mudarib. Okay, besides, remember, there also have the contemporary issues regarding the Mudarabah contract. The Mudarabah contract is such a very high risk product to the bank, hence the majority of the bank would rather choose low risk products, the lower the better. Alright, so when the contract sharing has a risk, it will be related to various investment risks such as credit, market and operational risks as a result of information imbalances leading to adverse selections and moral hazard issues. Consequently, due to all of these issues, it was encouraged by full window Islamic banks to reduce the use of investment mudarabah funds. Besides, presented theoretical evidence of how the asymmetric information of the two major Islamic financial contracts, which is mudarabah, it was affects a bank's profit positions and the bank's overall cost. Several theories were used to find solutions to the problems of negative choices and moral hazards in Islamic financial contract, such as incentive theory, signaling theory, and relationship banking. The adverse choice is the proper danger to the entrepreneur, which is the mudarib side, earlier than the funding is executed. For in the last part, okay, in conclusion, alright, this video finds that mudarabah is one of the major contracts with many business opportunities. This is one of the permissible treaties which is evidenced by the many texts and legalized trade in general. From the life experience of Prophet and his associates, there is an example of the adequacy of the Mudarabah Treaty, but scholarly consensus also supports its admissibility as long as it was not contradict with the Sharia compliance. Alright, so Mudarabah modern practices and operations, as well as other forms in which they are adjusted, are also quoted in a concise manner. Next, it can be seen that the contemporary system of mudarabah is better and develops well with the Sharia compliance rules. So that's all from this explanation of this video. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.